know where KD is with the Nets. That is now over. We don't 100% know where KD is with Kyrie Irving. The league doesn't know. But it has been floated to me by executives that, I'm sorry I'm loath to say it.
I can't. Don't do it.
That if they were be kept together, that the Lakers would potentially have a package that you could trade for both of them.
We cut off the energy of our friend Richard Jefferson, who basically threw up his arms and screamed, "Do it, do it, do it." We welcome back in Larry Kuhn, our NBA salary cap guru. You just heard Brian Windhorst. Can this get done? How do we make it happen? KD, Kyrie in a Lakers uniform.
Okay, and I know Brez wants to know how Lou Dort can become a Laker in that deal also.
Yes, that too.
We'll get to
21
that.
million
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, if you're talking KD and Kyrie.
And, yes.
Coming, and. That's an and. Okay, I'm going to throw out a number, $81 million. That's what the two of them make combined.
And we only had as in I'm part of the team.
You know.
Lakers only had $6.5 million to start.
To spend on a free agent.
81 and a half million.
Also, coincidentally, Allie's annual salary here at Spectrum Sports Net. So,
I know. Let's not tell the world.
I want her agent.
What else? 81 million. I mean, that's how do you get them over here to LA? Like, what do you see? What do you envision?
It's not impossible mathematically.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's two players.
Well, yeah, AD and LeBron, right?
Oh.
Yeah, so
sure that's gonna
they've
happen.
got to send out $65 million just to make it work under the rules.
Okay.
Forget about convincing Sean Marks that it makes sense and he's willing to pull the trigger. But for it to even pass muster, they have to send out $65 million. Okay. The problem with the Lakers is that they're so top heavy. We were talking about that. 3 guys up at the top, the rest are making chump change. And there's nobody in the middle to really throw into a deal to make it worthwhile to another GM. So are you looking at AD plus Russ? Okay, you can get up there. So AD is at 38, Russ is at 47, but Russ is not a high value contract at $47 million, even in the last year. So now you're talking about a third team and maybe even a fourth team, because Sean Marks is not going to want Russ, I would imagine. So,
Is that what you mean by he's not a high value contract?
Right.
The stats don't back up the dollars in your mind.
he is not worth $47 million for what he brings to the court currently. Correct.
Okay, now if a third team is involved, that could make this thing a little bit more complicated, a little bit more protracted. If the Lakers are going to try to get both these guys, which is definitely, as you mentioned, a big order, it's going to take some time. This is not going to happen
Tomorrow.
on the morning of July 1st.
Right.
I think we're safe with saying that.
But well, first of all, trades can't happen until July 6th. But
You can agree to them, of course,
yeah, in principle.
in principle.
But this is the kind of thing that takes its time percolating. They'll bring in the third team. They'll bring in the fourth team. They'll talk to the league. The league will say prank call or hang up before they call back a couple of times to convince them, no, we're really trying to do this. I swear, we're not pranking you. That might take place more toward the end of July, I would think. I would say that this would take a little bit of time to put together after the moratorium. But the problem is, I think the rest of the league has pretty much hit the pause button until everything with KD shakes loose.
He's the domino. He's the big
He is.
domino. Do you still think that the Lakers are in the Kyrie Irving sweepstakes?
I think they are. Now, we're just talking Kyrie by himself. Jovan on our podcast thought it was about 60 or 70% that he would end up with the Lakers. I'm going to be a little more conservative. Good news for Laker fans. The front office historically has made big trades happen. Just Anthony Davis, just a few short years ago. Pau Gasol in 2008, really making Kobe happier with the franchise. And why not? They went on to win 2 championships together. So the Laker front office has a knack for unveiling big trades. It's just, the Lakers, like Larry mentioned, they don't have a ton of guys making middle money or young talent besides THT making decent money that you can push off in a trade to make the math work. The NBA doesn't like when you acquire a $37 million player, a.k.a. Kyrie, and send out $2 million. Yeah, you can't do that. There's very few examples where you can do that. So what the Lakers have to send out over $30 million in contracts, and I'm not sure that the Nets want what the Lakers have, which is mostly established veteran players making big bucks.
It's realistic, though.
Well,
Kyrie Irving alone.
define realistic.
Larry went deep thought there for a second. And why do you say it that way?
Well, because when you look at what Sean Marks, the Nets GM, is going to want, even for Kyrie by himself, right? He's going to want to maximize this.
What would that look like?
Well, when you look at, you want draft assets, right?
Okay.
For one thing.
Yep.
And especially if somebody's going to take on Russ, right? Whoever sends out Russ, the Lakers in this case, they have to add to it with some assets. That's usually draft picks. All of the Lakers' draft picks, they're in New Orleans. So you're talking 27, 28, 29. You can't send out all three. You can send out 27 and 29. Maybe by then the Lakers are kind of back on the bottom end of the roller coaster, and those picks will be good. And a team like Brooklyn can wait until those picks mature and are worth a lot. Maybe that could happen, but it seems kind of far-fetched to me, to be honest.
Yeah, if you're Brooklyn, you probably want a pretty immediate return on this investment, a.k.a. young players who are not all-stars yet, but maybe there's promise there and they don't make a ton of money, or draft picks, for sure. Is 27 and 29 too far away for the Brooklyn Nets time horizon? Do they want someone in 23 and 25, from a different team that has these available assets? We don't know. We'll just have to surmise that the Lakers will be talking to try to get Kyrie over here.
And I don't know if it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, really, for Kyrie.
What do you mean by that? Like what?
I mean, are people bidding for him and driving up the price?
What's the demand?
Or is he looking to see who's willing to take Kyrie? Anyone?
I'll tell you the definition of realistic I don't like. When you are realistic with me about this opportunity happening. We appreciate you. You are great. Thanks so much for stopping by with us today. Coming up next on Access, we will bid farewell to Malik Monk by looking back at his top 10 plays as a Laker. You don't want to miss it. With the Warriors on Sunday, and that's followed by a showdown with the Sacramento Kings on July 5th. With all games being played at the Chase Center in San Francisco, Darvin Ham has given Phil Handy the assignment of coaching the Lakers in these 3 games.
Me and D Ham go way back. Obviously, we were here together in 2011. It's just like we've remained brothers the whole time. Me and D, we've always kept in touch. Even when he was in Atlanta and I was in Cleveland. He was in Milwaukee, I was in Toronto, and then here with the Lakers. Man, we've always kept in touch in the off seasons. Our families have always been close, so I'm extremely happy for him. Our journey started at the same time, and just to see him, arrive back here, going full circle, where we both started and we're both here together, man, I'm extremely excited for him as a head coach, and I'm excited to be a part of this new journey with him.
How important at this stage of the season is to see him around? Give some tips or some advices to the players or summer league. How important for you personally is his presence right now?
Yeah, it's very important. Coach Ham, obviously coming in as a new coach, he's got to put his system in and put his philosophies and his terminology and put his stamp on how we want to play as Lakers going forward. So for me as a coach personally, it's great because, again, I get a chance to understand what the new philosophy will be, what we're going to look like on offense, what we're going to look like on defense, and just really get an idea of what he is going to expect of us as assistant coaches. And then for the players, it's good for them too to kind of see their new head coach walking around and be able to tap him and ask questions. So for all of us, it's really good to have him here. We get a chance to get a head start on what's to be when we come into our training camp going into regular season.
And Magic Johnson sharing his thoughts on rookie Max Christie. I'm excited about the Lakers draft pick, MSU's Max Christie. He can play multiple positions, is an excellent defender, has a high basketball IQ, and has a beautiful jump shot. Max just needs to get stronger and work on his ball handling. Magic also added Jesse and Joey Buss have always done a great job developing players like Alex Caruso and Austin Reeves. They'll do the same with Max. Before we talk about the Summer League roster, guys, I do want to point out, obviously, Phil Handy, the lone assistant coach returning from a season ago. I watched him as a player development in Cleveland, obviously, and work his way up to this position. And I think, too, the relationship that he just shared with Darvin Ham, how nice do you think that will be to have that kind of familiarity, especially in Darvin's first year in that head chair?
I think that's huge in just building that comfort and that rapport. And Phil is someone that players love. Obviously, that's part of the reason why the Lakers kept him. He is a player development guru. And I think him having that established relationship already with LeBron, with AD, with Russ, with the rest of the guys that were there last season, I think that's going to be key in kind of communicating between the coaching staff and helping implement some of the stuff that Darvin's trying to do. So I think it's a plus to at least have one person remaining from last year's group.
Yeah, it was funny. When I was at their practice the other day on Tuesday, people were saying this team might actually be better than expected. Even though there's no first rounder on this team in Sacramento and then in Vegas, people are really enjoying the hustle this team is showing. Cole Swider from Syracuse, eager to see what he can add. 41% three-point shooter last season in college. So I think we'll have to see what he can do. Good height, 6'9". Got to work on the defense a little bit, but definitely a good touch. Maybe the Lakers don't need shooting. Maybe they already got him in a two-way contract guy in Cole. But obviously, to go from two-way to the NBA roster to being a meaningful part, of the rotation, that takes jump after jump after jump. Austin Reeves did it. We'll see if it can happen again.
I was going to say, we saw it a season ago. Who are you looking forward to on the Summer League
Max
roster?
Christie.
Yeah.
I want to see how ready is he. Some people have said they think he could play right away. Some people have said they think he's a bit of a project. Obviously, he does have to put some weight on, put some strength on. But he is someone that I think, again, we're talking about the shooting and kind of that 3-and-D skill set. He projects to have that, right? And if he's someone that can come in and space the floor and he's a bit of a movement shooter, can come off screens, do some of those things that the Lakers, I think, could use in their offense, he might have a chance to play. Like, it could be another Austin Reeves type situation where he's getting minutes early that we weren't necessarily expecting. So I do think Max Christie and kind of seeing where he's at currently will be interesting.
We talked about it the other day. I want to get your thoughts, Jovan. Were you surprised to not see Austin Reeves on the Summer League roster?
Yes,
shook his Lakers
yes
Twitter?
and no.
Yeah.
I'd heard he wasn't going to be, so when the roster came out, I kind of expected that. But I think he showed that he's a rotation player, and so to me, is it worth maybe getting him a couple reps, as we've seen, some teams do with their second-year guys? Like, maybe, but I think Austin is an important piece of this team. I think right now he might arguably be their best wing, and I think he's proven that he belongs already.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe a game or two in Summer League and then shut him down. Lakers have done that periodically in the past with their second-year guys who do go to the Summer League just for maybe a run, just to kind of get a little more familiarity with a new system, which is what Darvin Ham is obviously going to bring to this franchise. But if he wants to stay home and relax after getting that triple-double in the season finale, fine by me. Enjoy your time, Austin. Yeah, exactly.
Even though he's young.
Load management.
Let's check out some other notable signings from around the league today. Devin Booker probably headlines them all. Signs a 4-year, $214 million extension with the Suns. Nikola Jokic signs 5 years, $264 with the Nuggets. I don't think anyone's surprised by that. Bradley Beal, 5 years, $251 with the Wizards. Anthony Simons, 4 years, $100 million.
He had a good second half of the season, and now he's going to be making $25 million a year for the next 4 years.
Which was your favorite? Whether it be this or...
The one that jumped out to me was Lou Dort in OKC.
You and I think of a lot of people.
5 years, $89 million for Lou Dort. Good defender. Decent shooter. He's not going to, win any three-point contests, but that one really jumped out at me as in, wow. And he opted out, by the way. He opted out yesterday, I believe, and now we know why. Now we know exactly why. When he probably got wind that this would be happening. I think I said 89. I lied. 88 if you round up. That's still good coin for a guy who wasn't always in double figures game after game after game. Good defender, though, no doubt about it.
What about you?
For me, it was a under-the-radar move of the Bucks signing Joe Ingles and using their taxpayer mid-level exception on him. He's someone that obviously was a big piece of what Utah's done over the past few years. He's 3-and-D. I guess it's the theme of the show for me. But he's someone who's crafty. He can pass. He can play make. He can shoot. He can defend. And he is coming off a torn ACL, so he is going to miss part of the season. But I think if anyone can afford to have someone miss half the year and insert them into the rotation, it's a team like the Bucks. So he's someone that I look at as Milwaukee kind of is gelling through the middle of the season. They can add a piece like a Joe Ingles, who I think could really boost their playoff rotation. So that to me is more of a long-term move. But I think come playoff time, he's someone that could have potentially a key role in their rotation.
So I picked out a player that just shocked me, the contract he signed. And you did the better way. You picked someone who could actually help their team in the playoffs and maybe even the regular season, assuming he comes back healthy. Very gifted player, good pass.